video, I'll be explaining you the action of sodium hydroxide solution on certain salts. Okay, the different salts when treated with sodium hydroxide solution will give you different colored precipitates. Like the first one is calcium salt. So if you treat calcium salt like calcium nitrate with sodium hydroxide solution, we get a white precipitate, that is calcium hydroxide. And this white precipitate of calcium hydroxide is insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Okay, the second salt is the ferrous salt. When you treat ferrous salt with sodium hydroxide solution, we see a dirty green precipitate getting formed. That is due to the formation of ferrous hydroxide. Okay, and this dirty green precipitate is insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide solution. Okay, the third salt is the ferric salt. When you treat ferric salt like ferric chloride with sodium hydroxide solution, we see a reddish brown precipitate getting formed, that is ferric hydroxide. And again, this reddish brown precipitate, that is ferric hydroxide, is insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide solution. Okay, the fourth salt is copper salt. When you treat copper salt like copper sulfate with sodium hydroxide solution, we see a pale blue precipitate getting formed, and that is copper hydroxide, copper 2 hydroxide. And this copper 2 hydroxide is also insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide solution. Okay, the fifth one is the zinc salt. If you treat zinc salt like zinc sulfate with sodium hydroxide solution, you see a white gelatinous precipitate getting formed, that is zinc hydroxide. And when you add excess amount of sodium hydroxide solution, the white gelatinous precipitate, that is zinc hydroxide, reacts with sodium hydroxide solution, and the white gelatinous precipitate gets changes its color and it becomes colorless. That is due to the formation of sodium zincate, Na2ZnO2. Okay, the sixth one is the lead salt. So when any lead salt is treated with sodium hydroxide solution, we see a chalky white precipitate getting formed, and that chalky white precipitate is due to the formation of lead hydroxide. And when you add excess amount of sodium hydroxide, the chalky white precipitate dissolves, forming a colorless salt, that is sodium plumbite, Na2PbO2. So this is the action of sodium hydroxide on certain salts.